Hi everyone, and welcome to the next episode in which we will be building another part of our information security management system completely in Jira. Today we will look at how to build a risk register and what kind of apps, tools to use in it so that it works for your company as you grow. Let's start by creating a project, and since we already know how to do all of this, I will always fast forward to it. If you're not sure how to do it, go and watch my previous video in which I was creating the risk register, where I went really step by step to show you how to create custom workflows, custom fields, and how to make everything and how to put everything together. So let's go. So again, for risk register, we want to have a custom workflow. In the workflow, we want to treat the risk as it comes and as we manage the risk. So first we have risk identification, then assessment, treatment, approval, and output. Let's also build our workflow like that. Great. So we have created a custom workflow with the risk identification, assessment, treatment, approval, and risk output. Now let's also create a custom issue type called risk, so that anytime, anywhere we link it, we directly understand this is a risk and it needs to be treated like risk. Here again, I'd like to create a custom icon for it so that we, just by looking at it, we directly know what is happening. So we want to have in our project only the risk type, so let's go and edit this as well. And let's go back into our projects, into the risk register. Let's create one ticket, call it test. So what we have is a first risk ticket, and in the risk ticket, right now we don't really have much. We just have the standard here fields. So let's configure that, and let's create additional custom fields like we did before. If you don't know how to do it, go watch this video. And we have created the custom fields. Let's add them into our risk ticket. Let's also remove some of the fields that we don't need in here. Great, and there we have it. We have a risk ticket in which we can describe the risk. We can also choose the risk treatment plan, which could be mitigation, avoidance, transfer, or acceptance. And then we again describe the risk treatment. How do we actually do, and how do we do this? What I've also created is actually this other thing called key controls. Key controls is something where we can select which controls does it map to, or which controls are those that govern the risk and that are related to this risk from the ISO 27001. So we can, for example, select, access control, identity management, maybe also secure authentication. I haven't listed all of them, but ideally you would add all of these risk controls in here. Great. Now, what we are doing here is we want to actually understand what the risk is, right? And so, for example, it would be really helpful to, have kind of a scale and choose on the scale what the risk actually is. For that, I want to recommend you to use one app that we also are using that's called Risk Registers. Let's go and let's find it. So the app is called Risk Register, and let's install it and let's look at it, how it works and what we can do with it. Okay, let's get started with this. Okay, so what we can do is we can set up different permissions. For example, that the risk register should only show up in our risk register project and so on. But let's go into our risk register project, and here directly we already see that the risk assessment is linked in here. And when we open it, we can actually perform the risk assessment. So once it's loaded, perfect. We see that basically there is the inherent risk. We can set it to probable, and the impact is medium. And it automatically calculates, the inherent risk in total. You can also set residual risk that is then remote maybe and minor, and so then the residual risk becomes low. You can save this, and so each ticket will then have such a risk register. In addition to this, I want to show you a risk evaluation that, for example, we are also doing. And so here is kind of like a table that we found very useful for us. Let me just copy it here into the description for the risk evaluation. And so this is risk evaluation of an app called Discord that we are using for communications. And what we have here are the different information about, what is happening, how can it impact us, and so on. In the risk treatment, we then have a similar table. However, there we describe also, like what we have changed, what we have done, how did we treat the risk, what are the mitigations. And this is also where we basically, connect everything together. So what we can also do here is add connected work. And for example, we can set up different connections in here, but let's say this relates to our secondary asset, which could be the Discord, right? It can also relate then to whatever the mitigation is. And so we can have all of this interconnected right in here in the Jira ticket. So let's link this and let's look finally into also our apps and into our risk register app to just see basically what we can have here. So we have here the risk register model that looks like this. It can be edited, like you can also edit the names of these in case you're using a different nomenclature. And you can create a different risk register here as well. Let's do risk register project, risk register. Let's create it there. And so now we have a risk register connected to the risk register project. And what we will see in here are the different risks, right, that we can manage. We see the status of it, we see the summary of it, we also can see who's assigned to it. It will also create for us a matrix and a report that we can then use and show to the auditor, but also it's easier for us, right, to manage all of the risks. So here then we can also, link it to the mitigation. The mitigation can be done in another project, but that we will build in the next time. So this is all from my side today. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions or would like my help Feel free to put a comment down below. If you like the series, also subscribe, like the video. And if you want to talk to me, please book a meeting with me and I will be happy to help you set up your own risk register or talk about how the auditing process works and how can we support you in getting ISO certified and overall security. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.